Chapter 85. The New Covenant between the Holy Father and the children. The road of wisdom and the road of love. After this faithful rendition of the vision on the part of Jairus, the High Abbot again began to speak, making an extremely brilliant speech to all. And this was his speech. Behold and listen, my beloved little children. You are truly my children, just as I am truly your Father, having now begotten you myself as my true children in the spirit of love. Formerly, prior to this my descent to you, you used to call yourselves also my children, just as you called me your Father. And you did the right thing. For this is what drew me down to you, namely, to beget you all now anew, in the spirit of love as my true children. A most rare example in infinity. O earth, you have conquered me. Although you, as it were, usurped this name by calling me Father, you have never really been my children. Then you were merely children by name, just as I was only a father in your mouth. However, since I came to you despite your sin, and because you called me, I now beget you as my true children in spirit and in your hearts. So you shall henceforth no longer call me Father merely with the mouth, but you shall, with a sacred, living right in your loving hearts, say to me, Dear Father, our sail true Father. In the past you made yourselves my children, and thus also God's without being such. For then it was only your pride, as dwellers of the mountains, to call me thus, so as to distinguish yourselves from the descendants of Cain. However, since some of you were found to have recognized the road of humility and alone true love for me, I came to you as a Cainite. But since love did not shrink from receiving and keeping in the midst of your main tribe, the Cainite, the latter stayed with you, is still with you, and, if you wish, he will not ever budge from your place, which is a dwelling place in your hearts. And this Cainite am I, now alive and visible among you. I am the one whom previously you called Father, without being entitled to it, and I, the Cainite, am now giving you the active right to be my true children, as I am your sole true Father. Only now can you call me with all the right of your heart's humility and love, your Father. Just as I say to you, my beloved little children. For now I am in truth your Father, and you are in truth my little children. Hence this is a covenant, which I now make with you for eternity. Whoever will remain in the covenant, to him I shall be a father, and he will be my child. And whoever will join this covenant will soon attain to the true sonship. But he who leaves the covenant also leaves me. and loses the sonship for as long as he remains separated from this holy covenant. But verily, say I, he who will want to join this covenant anew will have to use much force. However, he will find it by far easier to join the covenant than to sever his connection with it, should he already have been received into it. For whoever is seized by me through this covenant will not easily be released ever. Joreas's vision was an indication of this as, closing his eyes, he jumped from the cloud, trying to distance himself from the same. For the cloud was the humility of his love. However, where was he when he awoke? Behold, thus love is a stronger bond than you imagine it to be. And love is the bond of this covenant made between me and you. Do you think this bond can be so easily severed? Oh, by no means, say I. Of course, it can be stretched as far as you like, but it cannot so easily be torn once a person has tied it to love, which is the true sonship. But he who has attained to love has also attained to the sonship, since love and sonship are one and the same. Behold, in the past you have all devoted yourselves to wisdom, while spurning love. In this wisdom you are hungry and thirsty. In your desire for knowledge and wisdom, you gobbled up the whole visible creation. And, as your wisdom told you, God was for you a God who must not and could not differ from the one you could accept with your wisdom. Thus you brought him offerings to your liking, for the God of your wisdom had to be contented with them, and be what you had made him in the, for you, easiest and most profitable way. Under this God, who was to you no father, you were full of hunger, and your children languished under the enormous pressure of your wisdom God. What did you do in this your grandeur given you by your wisdom God, who at the same time let you suffer hunger and thirst beyond measure? Behold, only then did you lend your ear, and also your heart, to the loving mouth of Hanoch. He was the voice of love out of me, calling to you out of Joreas's old cloud, that your God devoid of love is good for nothing. Yet love alone is the very life. Do you see now what Joreas's vision is aiming at? Behold, only now do you know through your love me, the alone true God, who is your true Father, and has now begotten you all as his children. Only now did you obtain the true light by which you see that there is an immense difference between me and your former wisdom God, I alone being the one, whereas he is nothing forever without me. And in this lies also the infinite greatness of your attainment of the true sonship. And so hold fast to what you have now obtained, and remain in me as children, as I am in you, as Father, eternally. Amen.